honored that me walking in my truth, me walking in my skin, me walking in my shoes opens doors for other people to be able to do that in the biggest capacity ever, you know, and I think at the end of the day, if we really start to show true representation on the screen, I think it will start to relay in other areas in society, like the government. I strongly feel like if you see it, that's when you can believe it, and that's when you can be it. And that's just the minimum of what you're able to accomplish. So if being Batwoman is the minimum, I mean, the sky literally is the limit.
Time to be powerful. I met the new girl. She's gonna be a handful.
Well, first of all, Javicia, thank you so much for chatting with us. We at ET are so excited for you to take over the Batwoman mantle for season 2 of the show. How are you feeling right now?
I'm excited. I'm super excited. We worked so hard. We worked really hard to come back from what I think, you know, people thought would break us. And yeah. I think that I'm really proud of our team for making magic. Because to me, I've watched the first 2 episodes and I really love them. I love what we created. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the world to see it.
Her mom died in childbirth.
I can't find a job.
Father died before she was born.
Because I don't have a home. Because no landlord wants to rent to an ex-con on post-release.
And I love the fact that Ryan brings a completely different perspective to the role of Batwoman than Kate Kane did. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, Ryan represents a community, I feel like, especially within Gotham, that had backs turned on them for a very long time. You know, and I think that this is a world in Gotham that we've never seen before that we'll finally get to highlight. And it's going to make it so real because a lot of the issues that are going to get discussed, obviously, throughout the season are very relevant to what's happening in our society versus it being too far. But it's still fun. It's still imaginative. It's still, Gotham. But we're gonna bring some real life situations into play. Mm-hmm. So when I look at Ryan, I think Ryan's the perfect vessel for that to happen because she has one foot in that world. She comes from, being a foster kid, going from foster home to foster home, and everyone turning their backs to her and not having anyone to care and love her. To now she has a foot in the world of Batwoman, where she doesn't have money, but everything around Batwoman is all about the fame and the wealth and the accessibility. So to have a superhero, don the cowl and the cape and come from this other world doing that, I think it's going to show true representation within Gotham that's really necessary. So I think people are going to have fun. They're going to connect to Ryan because of that. And more than anything, I think they're going to connect to Ryan because they're going to see her go through this journey.
No one cares that the dope wasn't mine or that the crows were dirty or that I'm actually a decent human. That is not having power. That is the very definition of powerless.
E.T. recently talked with Ruby Rose and she expressed how excited she was for you to be taking over the cowl and stepping into this role.
She looks amazing. She's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see season 2. But I do know that that's the old cowl. And so obviously I think she's obviously going to take that over for a bit. And I can't wait to see when they kind of adjust it and make the changes for her as well. I think it's going to look sick.
I'm curious, have you guys had any interactions at all or any conversations about this?
No, I haven't. We haven't.
Was there anything that you saw from her first season performance that you were like, okay, I see that's how she did that. Here's how I'm going to put my own spin on things?
You know what? Ryan is a completely different character. So I think naturally it just happened, right? I didn't have to intentionally do anything when naturally Ryan she's silly yet very determined yet. And so they're so different that it naturally happens without me having to feel the need to lean more towards any kind of direction. We've done the work. Caroline Dries, our amazing show creator, has created, her and the writer's room have done such an amazing job creating a story that we can get lost in. And I kind of just use that and I lead with that every time I show up on set.
I have been trapped in a life surrounded by criminals. I know how they think, how they act, but most of all, I know how to stop them.
And I think one of the things that fans are going to be so intrigued by her is that she makes being Batwoman fun. She thinks this is cool. Was that energy something you were excited to bring to your character?
Yeah, and I think it naturally happens because that's how I feel. It's so weird if there's any person that is a superhero that doesn't feel like this is cool. Come on now. Like, you're too cool if you don't think this is cool. And so when Caroline and I talked about Ryan, one of the things that she really wanted to bring in Ryan's character is the comedy.
Boo.
I'm not the smoothest person. I tend to trip and fumble a lot. I tend to, like, you know, all of what you consider to be a very flawed human. And I'm trying to be this cool Batwoman, but I have trouble getting out of the Batmobile because it sits so low and my cape keeps getting caught in the door. And so it just naturally happens that I am like this, not good. Well, I guess you can say goofy, but like this just unsmooth superhero. And it's just, I think it's flattering to be able to watch and have fun and not take myself that serious.
New look.
New Batwoman.
Once they were crafting the new suit for you and making it your own, and we saw that first look image and we see you rocking those gorgeous curls, like, how much input did you have in the new creative direction of the Batwoman suit?
So Caroline, our show creator, and our lead costumer, Maya Manny, they are the ones that really did the magic when creating the suit. However, I do know that, like, one of the things that really inspired Caroline was fan art. She was so inspired by fan art. So what we would do is we would send each other fan art of, like, that we love, that we felt could be somewhat of what inspired the idea of where we were going to go with the suit. But more than anything, a lot of the fan art incorporated the hair, because my announcement picture, I had like this big curly fro. Mm-hmm. And so that's how, if you didn't know me, that's the only picture you had ever seen of me. So when you create a Batwoman, she has this big curly fro. And Caroline and I looked at each other like, this is it, we gotta do this. And so that was like one thing we knew for sure with that. Our Batwoman was gonna have a big curly fro.
Don't kill me, but I made some alterations.
To what, the suit?
What's gonna happen is, you know, in the first few episodes, and she's wearing the Kate Kane suit, she's so uncomfortable because, first of all, before she turns around, everyone thinks she is Kate. And then obviously when she turns around, she's black, so she can't be Kate. So she has to try to figure out how to make this her own. And she goes on a journey and she redesigns the suit. And a part of redesigning the suit is that she changes the wig that goes with the cowl.
Thank you for changing the wig. I'm saying this on camera. Thank you. That's all I'm gonna say is just thank you.
I have no idea what this button does. You want to figure it out together?
My favorite thing in episode 201 was watching Ryan get used to the suit and playing with all the different buttons and figuring things out.
That was me. Man, let me tell you, Ian, when I put that suit on for the first time, I looked in the mirror and I realized, oh shoot, I don't know how I'm supposed to hold my hands. How am I supposed to hold my hands? And I'm looking at my castmates and none of them have played superheroes, so we don't know. And I'm just like, am I supposed to do this? And then I read the script and it says that's almost like what I'm not supposed to do. So now I'm super confused. So as Ryan goes on this journey to figure out how to be a superhero, to figure out how to be Batwoman, I am going on this journey to figure out how to be a superhero and to figure out how to be Batwoman. And really those two worlds collide, and like I think that it's very authentic. Like, it's a very authentic journey. A lot of times you come into these superhero shows or movies and they're already a superhero, or they have some type of magic power. Like, that's not the deal with Batwoman. There's no magic power. There's humanity and willing to be able to sacrifice and willing to try to think outside the box to, out-con our villains. But there's definitely, the smoothness is not something I innately have.
Let's talk about the fact that you get the Batmobile.
Isn't that epic?
I mean, talk to me about sitting in it. Like, what's it been like? Like, is it as cool in person as it appears on screen?
It is as cool in person as it appears in screen, but even more cool because I'm actually physically in it. I'm terrified that if I ruin anything, I'm going to get charged $1 million for this car that I can't afford. And then, like I said, it sits so low. First of all, I've already told you I am not smooth whatsoever, and getting out of that car always reveals how clumsy I am, because first of all, the door is heavy, so I'm trying to open the door, and then finally when I get out, I have to use support to get up so that I can stand. I close the door, my jacket's stuck, and I'm like, come on. And then it's like the camera's there, so I'm supposed to walk into like this epic scene, but I can't even get out the car. But it's the Batmobile, so we make it work.
I stumbled on something Pretty sick.
Javicia, it's been so exciting just from once they announced your casting to those first look photos. Like, you've been on such a roller coaster ride in addition to all the events that happened in 2020. What has been the most rewarding part for you, kind of stepping into these super shoes?
To be able to kind of walk away from the reality of what's happening in society, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not blind to it, obviously, but to be able to just show up at work and do what I love and fly in the air and do these epic fight scenes and have so much fun with my co-stars and dancing in the tents in between scenes. Like, it's bringing a joy that I think we all need. And I hope that our show can reflect that joy. But that's definitely been like the best part of this entire situation.
What has it meant to you to, first of all, play this character, but also just be able to represent so many diverse demographics out there?
It's an honor that me walking in my truth, me walking in my skin, me walking in my shoes opens doors for other people to be able to do that in the biggest capacity ever, you know, and I think at the end of the day, if we really start to show true representation on the screen, I think it will start to relay in other areas in society, like the government or like other things like that. So, you know, it's very necessary. I want little people, you know, in general, little girls, little boys, to feel represented when they see our characters on screen. I want them to feel like they see themselves. I want them to feel like the sky is the limit of what they can be. And I just have I strongly feel like if you see it, that's when you can believe it and that's when you can be it. And that's just the minimum of what you're able to accomplish. So if being Batwoman is the minimum, I mean, the sky literally is the limit. And so, yeah, I'm really happy that WB, DC, you know, Berlanti were all willing to take a chance using this role as a way to open those doors.
Give me a chance, and I can bring that hope back to Gotham.